The best birthday plan ever. Pool party. Lily shrieked, practically vibrating with glee. Her parents exchanged knowing smiles across a kitchen table buried under glossy images of inflatable flamingos and whimsical, melon-shaped beach balls. Sounds delightful, sweetheart, her mom responded, finishing her coffee. But a gaggle of kids splashing about? We'll need some organization. Lily snatched a notepad and a pen that shimmered like captured starlight. Right activities. Marco Polo is a must. And a ring diving competition. She scribbled with feverish energy, her tongue peeking from the corner of her mouth in concentration. And a splash bomb contest, maybe? Oh, and tunes. Her dad chuckled, a warm sound. Someone's eager. What about a theme? A pirate adventure? A tropical luau? Lily pondered this, tapping the pen against her teeth. Nah, just pure, unadulterated fun. The theme is maximum merriment. The invitations became miniature works of art. Glitter rained down on every card as she depicted radiant suns, undulating waves, and cartoon versions of her friends sporting adorable swimsuits. The words all but shouted. You're invited. Lily's epic 10th birthday bash. Pack your swimsuit and your brightest smiles. She carefully labeled each envelope, a pleasant shiver of anticipation accompanying every adhesive stamp. The week leading up to the grand event saw the Hernandez backyard metamorphose into a vibrant paradise. Wielding rolls of brightly hued crepe paper, Lily orchestrated her parents' efforts with the authority of a seasoned producer. Her dad grappled with a colossal inflatable palm, while her mom draped twinkling lights along the fence, conjuring an ethereal ambience. Lily meticulously arranged plush beach towels on the lounge chairs, envisioning a scene of joyful chaos and watery antics. A tiny wrinkle appeared on her brow. What if nobody RSVP'd? What if her friends considered pool parties passé? She banished the thought with a decisive shake of her head. This would be the most spectacular birthday ever conceived, and nothing would steal her joy. Mrs. Crabtree's watchful eye. The scent of Lily's blooming gardenias drifted on the breeze, mocking Agnes Crabtree as she peered through the gap in her floral print curtains. From her vantage point, Lily's backyard transformed into a theater of impending chaos. Colored balloons bobbed like unruly heads above the freshly mowed lawn. A portable speaker, far too large, sat perched on a patio table, gleaming menacingly in the afternoon sun. Agnes reached for her well-worn copy of the Homeowners Association rulebook. The spine cracked in protest as she flipped to Section 4, Subsection B, Noise Levels and Social Gatherings. A bony finger, adorned with a ring featuring an enormous, fake ruby, traced the dense paragraph. Disturbing the peace. She muttered, her voice a dry rustle. Unreasonable noise. Further violations presented themselves. Section 7, Subsection D, Acceptable Lawn Ornaments. Those garish inflatable flamingos flanking Lily's makeshift dance floor? Flagrant disregard. She grabbed a highlighter, the fluorescent yellow a stark contrast to the faded pages, and marked the relevant passages with a decisive thwack. Agnes imagined the thumping bass, the shrieks of laughter, the clinking of glasses shattering the afternoon quiet. She already felt the phantom vibrations rattling her china cabinet. 911 might be necessary, she declared to the empty room, though her hand trembled as she reached for the phone. Not yet. She needed more evidence. The party hadn't even officially started. But Mrs. Crabtree's watchful eye remained fixed, a silent promise of intervention hanging heavy in the air. Splash party in full swing. The doorbell chimed, startling Lily. A nervous flutter erupted in her stomach. This was really happening. She smoothed down her bright pink swimsuit and hurried to the door. Maya and Chloe stood on the porch, arms laden with brightly wrapped gifts. Happy birthday, Lily, they shouted in unison, nearly dropping a tower of presents. Come in, come in. Lily ushered them inside, her smile widening. The music, a carefully curated playlist of upbeat pop tunes, pulsed from the backyard. As they stepped outside, a chorus of delighted shrieks erupted from the pool. Kids were already cannonballing in, sending plumes of water arcing into the air. David, ever the showman, was attempting a handstand in the shallow end, his legs kicking wildly. Lily, you gotta try this, he yelled, before promptly collapsing in a spray of bubbles. Soon, everyone was in the pool. Marco organized a game of Marco Polo, his booming voice carrying over the splashing. Lily, initially hesitant, found herself caught up in the infectious energy. Chloe challenged her to a chicken fight, and Lily, perched precariously on Marco's shoulders, felt a surge of unexpected confidence as she tried to unseat Chloe from David's. Laughter echoed through the yard, punctuated by the rhythmic thump of the music and the delighted gasps as someone lost their balance and tumbled into the cool water. Even the inflatable flamingos bobbing on the surface seemed to be smiling. For the first time all day, Lily felt truly relaxed, the weight of her earlier anxieties momentarily forgotten in the joyous chaos of the splash party. The rule book strikes back. Agnes Crabtree marched across the manicured lawn, her sensible shoes crunching on stray bits of bark mulch. The thump-thump-thump of the music vibrated in her chest, each beat a personal affront. She clutched the HOA rulebook to her bosom like a shield. The Hernandez's driveway was a disgrace. Cars, haphazardly parked, jutted out onto the street, a clear violation of Parking Ordinance 3. 2B. And the noise. Agnes could practically taste the sugary sweetness of the music, a cacophony that drowned out the gentle chirp of crickets she'd personally lobbied to protect. She spotted a man grilling near the pool, a spatula clutched in his hand like a weapon. He looked up, a smile crinkling the corners of his eyes. Lily's father, she presumed. "Excuse me," Agnes snapped, her voice tight. "I need you to turn down the music and control your guests. They're blocking the entire street." She thrust the rule book toward him. Section 4. Excessive noise. Section 3. Parking violations. Mr. Hernandez lowered the spatula, his smile fading. "We're just having a little party, ma'am. We'll wrap things up soon." "Soon isn't good enough," Agnes retorted, her voice rising. "This is a residential area, not a nightclub. I've already warned you once before, and you ignored it. If this doesn't stop immediately, I'm calling the authorities. I will be filing a formal complaint with the HOA, and I will personally ensure that the maximum fine is levied." She punctuated her threat with a sharp tap of the rule book against her palm. "Consider yourselves warned." A dramatic 911 call. Agnes Crabtree's face was a roadmap of disapproval, each wrinkle a testament to years of unmet expectations. Lily's dad, a man whose patience had clearly been honed by years of dealing with teenagers, tried to explain that the music was being turned down, the party was winding down, and everything was under control. Agnes wasn't buying it. Control? This sounds like a riot. Look at this carnival of debauchery. She fumbled for her phone, her fingers trembling with righteous indignation. "I've had enough. I'm calling the authorities." Lily's dad sighed, the weariness evident in his slumped shoulders. "Mrs. Crabtree, please. There's no need for that." Agnes ignored him, jabbing a finger at the screen. 911 flashed bright. She held the phone to her ear, her eyes narrowed. "Yes, I need to report a major disturbance. It's a pool party, gone completely out of control." "Yes, Crabtree. CRABDRE. Number 12, Willow Creek Lane. The noise level is deafening. There are dozens, no, hundreds of teenagers running amok. Loud music, questionable behavior, and I suspect there might be underage drinking. I demand immediate police intervention. This is a clear violation of HOA regulations, and quite frankly, it's a menace to the entire neighborhood." Her voice rose with each word, laced with a theatrical outrage that could curdle milk. She punctuated her sentence with a triumphant sniff, as if she had just single-handedly saved the world from teenage anarchy. Unexpected lifeguards arrive. The flashing blue and red painted the already chaotic scene in stark, pulsing strokes. Conversations died mid-sentence. Music choked off, leaving a ringing silence punctuated only by the nervous chirping of crickets. Every head turned towards the curb as the police cruiser idled, a beast momentarily calmed. Two figures emerged. Officer Johnson, broad-shouldered and usually stern, was grinning, a genuine, teeth-baring smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. Beside him, Officer Ramirez, known for her no-nonsense demeanor, was mirroring his expression. But it wasn't their smiles that stole the air from our lungs. It was what they were carrying. Not batons, not ticket books, not even stern expressions of disappointment. Instead, dangling from their hands, were a rainbow assortment of pool noodles. A bright yellow one bounced against Johnson's thigh, while Ramirez twirled a glittery pink noodle with an amused glint in her eyes. All right, settle down," Johnson boomed, his voice surprisingly jovial. "Word on the street is this party needs some official lifeguards." He winked, holding up the yellow noodle like a prized trophy. A ripple of confused laughter spread through the crowd. What was happening? Was this a prank? Were they going to arrest us with pool noodles? The tension, thick enough to cut with a butter knife just moments before, began to fray at the edges. Family to the rescue. Lily's breath hitched. The taller officer, removing his sunglasses, had a familiar smirk playing on his lips. The woman beside him, also removing her mirrored shades, winked. David? Maria, she gasped, her face flooding with color, but this time it wasn't embarrassment. It was disbelief, tinged with a burgeoning hope. David chuckled, the sound booming across the suddenly silent pool area. Surprise. He extended a hand, ruffling her hair. Thought we'd spice things up a bit. HOA regulations clearly state a lifeguard is required for parties exceeding 10 people. Maria stepped forward, her lifeguard uniform somehow managing to look both official and playfully mischievous. And who better to volunteer than your favorite cousins? We signed up last week. Karen's call just expedited things. A collective murmur rippled through the partygoers, morphing into relieved laughter. Even the stoic officer, who had been standing back with folded arms, cracked a smile. We're here to ensure pool safety, folks, and maintain order, he announced, his voice surprisingly jovial. Apparently, my colleagues have a vested interest in this particular event. He gestured towards David and Maria with a nod. Consider us part of the entertainment. The tension that had been thick enough to cut with a knife evaporated, replaced by a wave of infectious amusement. Lily, still reeling, felt a genuine smile stretch across her face. This wasn't a disaster. It was a family rescue. Noodle arrest. Officer Johnson sauntered over to Mrs. Crabtree, a mischievous glint in his eyes. Agnes Crabtree, I presume, he asked, his voice a low rumble that didn't quite mask the amusement bubbling beneath. Mrs. Crabtree puffed out her chest. I am, and I demand you do something about this cacophony. She gestured wildly towards the pool, nearly clipping Officer Davis in the face. Johnson sighed dramatically. Ma'am, I'm afraid I have to place you under arrest. Her mouth gaped open, a silent fish. Arrest? For what? Disturbing the peace, Johnson declared, reaching for something behind his back. He produced a bright yellow pool noodle. With a flourish, he snapped it in half and looped the pieces around her wrists. You have the right to remain silent, he deadpanned. Anything you say can and will be used in a court of public opinion. Laughter erupted from the pool. Even Officer Davis was chuckling, his shoulders shaking. Mrs. Crabtree's face flushed crimson. This is preposterous. You can't arrest me with a flotation device. Technically, it's a temporary restraint, Johnson corrected, winking at a group of teenagers doing synchronized swimming. Now, come along peacefully. Humiliated and sputtering, Mrs. Crabtree yanked the noodle handcuffs off and retreated towards her house, muttering about lawsuits and dereliction of duty. The screen doors slammed shut behind her, the sound echoing through the suddenly silent backyard. The best birthday ever. The music pulsed, a vibrant mix of salsa and reggae tone that vibrated through Lily's very bones. Laughter spilled from the pool, where even Mr. Thompson from next door was attempting a clumsy cannonball, to the roaring cheers of the kids. Plates piled high with abuelas empanadas and Tia Elena's flan circled the yard, disappearing as quickly as they appeared. Lily watched it all, a warmth spreading through her chest that had nothing to do with the summer sun. It was a fizzy feeling, like the bubbles in her guava soda, a sense of pure, unadulterated joy. She spotted her cousins, Sophia and Isabella, near the inflatable flamingo, refilling water balloons. Hey, she called, weaving through the crowd. Thank you. Seriously. You guys saved the day. Sophia winked. That's what family's for, Lilliput. Isabella nudged her playfully. Besides, watching Karen get dunked was totally worth it. Lily giggled, remembering the look on Mrs. Davison's face as Officer Miller had gently, but firmly, escorted her away, dripping wet. It was a moment she knew she'd treasure forever. But more than that, she realized something profound, that even when things seemed darkest, kindness and family could always light the way. As another burst of laughter erupted from the pool, and the scent of barbecue filled the air, Lily took a deep breath. She grinned, a genuine, ear-to-ear smile. This, she announced, her voice clear and strong, is the best birthday ever.